The airport was buzzing with people rushing to catch their flights. The sounds of rolling luggage and distant announcements blending into a chaotic hum. Among the crowd, a little boy stood clutching his worn backpack, his tiny eyes scanning the faces of strangers. He looked lost, scared, and yet somehow, there was a quiet courage in his gaze. "My daddy is in heaven. Can you help us get home?" he whispered, his voice trembling, but loud enough to catch the attention of the man walking past him, a lonely CEO, tired from endless meetings and burdened by a life of wealth but emptiness. No one expected the encounter to change anything, yet in that single moment, two worlds collided: the innocence of a child who had lost his father, and the solitude of a man who had lost himself. The airport, usually a place of departures and arrivals, became the backdrop for a story of hope, connection, and something neither of them could have anticipated. As the little boy's words hung in the air, the CEO froze, caught between the comfort of ignoring the stranger and the pull of an unspoken responsibility. What would he do? Could he help this child find his way home, or was it a journey neither of them were ready for? The CEO looked down at the boy, his heart tightening in a way he hadn't felt in years. He noticed the small, crumpled photograph peeking out of the child's pocket, a man with kind eyes and a gentle smile. The boy's mother had been gone for a long time, and now his father too, leaving him alone in a world that suddenly seemed too big and frightening. The CEO's mind raced. He was used to solving problems with money, influence, and careful planning, but this was different. There were no contracts, no boardrooms, no guarantees, just a child, trembling and hopeful, asking for help. Around them, the airport carried on as usual, people, laughing, arguing, running, but in that small bubble, time seemed too slow. The boy shifted, glancing at the CEO with a mixture of fear and trust that made him feel both responsible and helpless at the same time. He didn't even know this child, yet already, a strange connection had formed. Questions swirled in the CEO's mind. Where was the boy supposed to go? Who could help him now? And most importantly, what did home mean for someone who had lost everything? As the announcement for a departing flight echoed nearby, neither of them noticed the first shadow slipping closer, a presence that threatened to change everything before a single answer could be found. The CEO knelt down to the boy's level, forcing a smile he didn't quite feel. "Where is home?" he asked softly, trying to sound confident, though inside, uncertainty gnawed at him. The boy's lips trembled as he clutched the photograph tighter. "I don't know," Daddy said. "It's far, and I can't find it alone," he whispered. That single admission made the CEO realize the depth of the child's vulnerability. This wasn't just about helping a lost boy, it was about guiding him through grief, fear, and the unknown. As they stood near the bustling terminal, another layer of tension emerged. Airline staff were beginning to notice the small, unsupervised boy, and a nearby security officer gave a sharp glance in their direction. Meanwhile, the CEO's phone buzzed incessantly, a reminder of meetings, missed calls, and obligations he had tried to escape for this brief moment. His world of control and predictability suddenly felt meaningless compared to the fragile life of the child in front of him. The boy's eyes wandered to the gates, longing and confusion battling in their depths. He had no idea that somewhere, beyond the airport walls, his father's old friend, a distant relative who had promised to watch over him, was frantically searching. Time was running out, decisions had to be made, and yet, the path to safety remained hidden. The CEO took a deep breath, knowing that whatever choice he made next could change both of their lives forever. But a sudden, unexpected sound from the crowd made both of them freeze, hinting that the real challenge was only just beginning. The airport lights flickered as the CEO tightened his grip on the boy's hand, feeling the small, desperate pulse of fear radiating through him. Every passing traveler seemed like a blur, their hurried faces barely registering, but the boy's gaze was fixed on the exit, as if hoping that somewhere beyond the glass doors, someone was waiting to rescue him. The CEO's heart pounded. He had never felt so powerless. The usual tools of influence, wealth, and authority were useless here. This was raw human need, and it demanded more than anything he had ever faced. A distant announcement echoed, flight delayed, a gate closing, a warning for unattended children. The boy's eyes widened, and he tugged at the CEO's sleeve. "I can't wait. What if we miss it? What if we never get home?" The CEO swallowed hard, torn between following airport rules and following his instincts. Around them, security began moving closer, their radios crackling, voices urgent. Then a shadow appeared, a figure moving quickly through the crowd, eyes scanning for someone. The boy froze, recognition flickering in his expression, but he didn't speak. The CEO felt a cold knot of dread tighten in his stomach. Every second now mattered. Every choice carried weight. The airport, once a place of mundane chaos, had become a maze of tension, with the boy's safety hanging by the thinnest of threads. As footsteps drew nearer and the crowd thickened, the CEO realized the moment of truth was approaching. They were on the edge of a decision that could change everything, but who would reach them first, and what dangers lurked unseen in the crowd. Just as the CEO began to move toward the approaching figure, ready to guide the boy to safety, a sudden commotion erupted near the security checkpoint. A voice shouted urgently, "Stop that child!" Panic rippled through the crowd. And in an instant, the calm airport chaos turned into chaos that threatened to engulf them both. The boy's hand tightened around the CEO's, his small body trembling. The approaching figure slowed, hesitation flashing across their face, and the CEO realized with a jolt that this wasn't the friendly relative he had imagined. It was someone else entirely, someone with a different agenda. Fear surged in his chest. What had seemed like a simple rescue was now layered with danger. The boy's wide eyes searched the crowd, and for a moment, he looked older than his years, understanding that trust could be a dangerous gamble. Meanwhile, the security officers were closing in, radios buzzing, and travelers scattering in confusion. The CEO felt trapped between two forces: the unknown figure whose intentions were unclear, and the strict, unyielding rules of airport security. Every second seemed to stretch, every step forward risking catastrophe. In that moment, the CEO had to make a choice: protect the boy and defy authority, or let fear dictate their fate. And as the shadowy figure finally stepped closer, a new layer of danger revealed itself, making it clear that the real challenge, the one that would test courage, trust, and humanity, was only just beginning. The shadowy figure stopped just a few feet away, and the CEO's heart raced. In a split second, he realized it wasn't a threat at all. It was a young woman, tearful and out of breath, holding a small suitcase. "I am his cousin," she stammered, her voice shaking. "His father asked me to find him if anything ever happened." Relief and tension collided in the CEO's chest as he slowly guided the boy toward her. The little boy hesitated, then ran into her arms, burying his face in her shoulder. Finally safe after a day of fear and confusion. The airport's chaos continued around them, but in that small bubble, calm returned. Security officers approached, questions at the ready, but the CEO stepped forward, explaining everything quickly. The officers, seeing the boy reunited with family, nodded and stepped back, their urgency easing. The CEO felt a weight lift from his shoulders, a strange mix of exhaustion and fulfillment, just as he turned to leave. Thinking his role was done, the boy tugged at his sleeve. "Wait, you came with us? But why? You don't even know me," he said softly. The CEO knelt, looking into the boy's trusting eyes, and realized that while he had solved one crisis, another had quietly begun a connection, unexpected and unplanned, that neither of them would ever forget. As they walked toward the exit together, a sudden text on the CEO's phone made him freeze. An unknown number, a single message. "You haven't seen the whole story yet." His chest tightened. Whatever adventure had started at the airport was far from over. The little boy clung to his cousin, whispering stories about his father and the times they had shared, his fear slowly melting into relief. The CEO watched silently, a warmth spreading through him that he hadn't felt in years. For the first time, he understood that life wasn't about wealth, schedules, or status. It was about the moments that connected people, the trust we give, and the care we show to those who need it most. The cousin thanked the CEO repeatedly, her eyes brimming with gratitude. "You didn't have to help him," she said softly, "but you did." The CEO shook his head, realizing that in helping the boy, he had found something he had been missing all along: a sense of purpose beyond boardrooms and business deals. As they walked toward the taxi line, the boy waved at the CEO, smiling through tears. It was a small gesture, but it carried everything: hope, trust, and the start of a new chapter. The airport behind them returned to its usual rhythm, but the encounter had changed all three of their lives forever. Later that evening, the CEO looked at the photograph the boy had carried so faithfully. He understood, finally, that some connections are meant to guide us, to remind us of kindness, and to show that even in a lonely world, a single